The Houston Astros are set to take on the South Siders of Chicago, or as we call them, the Astros of the South Side of Chicago. Former teammates galore will be there. Are they going to have a family reunion with Marty Maldonado? Are the Astros going to actually sweep a team that they should sweep? A team that's lost 9 series in a row. Let's talk about this, the All-Stars, and who might pitch Thursday on this edition of Locked On Astros.
Jainer Diaz, this is Locked On Astros.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You find me on X at Eric Talkstros. You can find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Thank you for making us part of your daily routine, whether it's on YouTube. Go ahead, hit the little red subscribe button down there. Go and make us part of your daily listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go ahead and check us out and become an everydayer. Somebody listens to a podcast every day. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. So, Brett, I hate Mondays where there's no baseball game, but I know they need days off. So when you're, I don't know what you did today, but when you're not watching Astros game, where can they find you at, and what are you doing?
Well, I am talking to you right now. We're filming our latest edition of Locked On Astros. Look, man, you can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on X, Instagram, and TikTok. You can find me at Stros411 on X and on Facebook. You can also find me at Back to the Bullpen on X and on Instagram, where I'm always positive, always Stros. And I like this series going into Chicago for a few reasons. I think it is not only a winnable series, obviously, but I think it's a sweepable series. That's even kind of hard to say. And we might be facing, we are facing a guy that is one of the most sought after arms in Major League Baseball right now when it comes to the trade deadline, in Garrett Crochet. And if the Astros are absolutely going to go after a World Series title, they're going to have to get 2 pitchers, not one. They're going to have to get 2. And when I say that they're going to have to go on, they're going to have to give up somebody that we don't want them to give up, Eric. And if they don't, what it signals to me is they clearly don't think they're a World Series team. But I'm also excited to start this conversation talking about the All-Stars and how many Astros players not just getting votes, but are leading their positions respectively this early on. So Astros fans have done a good job so far.
I know that y'all can still go out and vote. This is just a first stage of the voting. And, once people get out there, be like, well, I don't want so-and-so to be leading this. So fans already get out. They get out and respond to people voting. So if you want to get your All-Stros out there, go ahead and take care of this. But I saw this right before the show, and there's not some big surprises. Let's go ahead and look at the people that are not getting on to the All-Star ballot so far. Catchers and first baseman. Of course, Adley Rutschman is leading the vote so far. And catchers, Salvador Perez is second. And then you have first baseman, even though he's not having a great season, you got Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and then Ryan Mountcastle. That just shows how bad the first base position is this year in the American League. And you see down there, huh?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
And you see down there, John Singleton is getting some votes. Not a lot of votes, but a lot of people probably when doing this ballot, you've seen this when you're doing it as Astros fans, you've seen this. You're like, who's this player? I have no idea who this is. That's probably how people are thinking with John Singleton.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's go ahead and take this down because I just want to say this. Yainer Diaz is 6th in that, category. Singleton was 7th or 9th. And so what you have at the top, though, I've actually flipped to putting Ryan Mountcastle as my All-Star first baseman. I think Josh Naylor's a close second. But Vlad Guerrero Jr., although he's having a down year in power, he's not having a terrible year. He's not terrible at the plate. And so it's kind of a close call. But you said you want to look at guys that aren't being voted or aren't leading. We'll look at third baseman. I think Jose Ramirez is a lock. I mean, Jordan Westberg, who's a rookie, who's a stud, is not even halfway there. Devers is right behind Westberg, Oswaldo Cabrera. But then when you go to shortstops, look at this. The young guns, Gunnar Henderson, Bobby Witt Jr., Anthony Volpe. And then the veterans, Corey Seager, 4th. Jeremy Pena, 6th. Carlos Correa, 10th. Below Zach Neto. I mean, come on, Minnesota. What are y'all doing? This is C5, they now call him, because he had a 5-hit game the other day. But, Jeremy Pena, I think, should be higher on that list. But I think we can move him into the top 3 if the Astros fans get on their stuff and vote. Alex Bregman, 7th. I don't think Alex Bregman will get it. Now, I'm not saying number 1, but I think you can get Pena up to top 3. But we've got to beat out the Yankees fans, because I'm surprised the Yankees fans haven't put more votes out there for Volpe.
I was just about to say, I think Volpe, especially after this All-Star ballot reveal, you're going to see a lot of Yankees fans go out there and rock the vote. Yeah. So you have
get out and vote, rock the vote. You're going back to the 90s, my friend. And you know what? Y'all can vote online. You don't have to go out and vote. Eric's like, makes like you got to go to a polling place. Look, MLB.com. Let me explain to y'all, because I don't know if everybody knows this. 5 times a day you can vote. And hey, if you have multiple emails and multiple MLB accounts, you can vote more than 5 times a day, and it's perfectly legal. Nothing illegal about
that. So let's go ahead and start with the people that are likely to get into the All-Star game. It's not set in stone, but it's looking pretty good. I mentioned yesterday, Jose Altuve is leading Marcus Semien at this moment. You have, it looks like the Royals are going out and rocking the votes a little bit. Remember that season when the Royals just like stuffed the ballot box,
but I will say this. Oh no, it was they had all in it, and it was, and I think to this day, what's his name? Whit Merrifield still has a hard spot in his heart for Jose Altuve for that year, because he beat him.
Yeah, maybe or maybe not, but yeah, Jose Altuve should have been in that starting game, the All-Star game that year. But I think that Altuve is definitely hands above the guy this year. Semien had a great year last year. He's not quite having the great year this year. The Rangers are not as good a team as they were last year, but there are some names that have been struggling a lot this year. Gleyber Torres, he's the guy I kept in fantasy baseball. Never going to keep him again. I have already dropped him, but he is just, you have a lot of names that are kind of dropping. And so I think Jose Altuve is the top of the bunch there. So I know yesterday we had this discussion, how many Astros are you going to see in All-Star game? Jose Altuve actually said that he thinks that if he had one Astro to send All-Star game, it would be Ronel Blanco. And so he thinks that this guy has, So I think that Ronel Blanco is probably going to have a good sign. So I know a lot of people are calling us, or I think mainly aiming at you, homers, for saying the Astros is going to have 3 to 4. This was in yesterday's comments.
No. Well, okay.
Yeah.
Let me show you how I'm not a homer. Tucker's leading left field. Altuve's leading second base.
We're getting. That's what I'm trying to get to. Jeez.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying. Hey, man, I got to defend my honor, man. So here is the DH, Yordan Alvarez, clearly leading Giancarlo Stanton. No way Giancarlo Stanton's number 2. I don't know. I mean, this is not a very strong field this year, to be honest with you. Josh Jung's been injured a lot.
David Fry has a high batting average, high OPS. He does a lot of everything, but he's not a big power guy.
Exactly. And then when you go to the outfielders, of course, Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker, that's actually the lineup that I have as my top 3 outfielders. Julio Rodriguez is still top 10. Cedric Mullins, who the Orioles,
I don't know. That's weird.
Well, the Orioles have already said they're looking for a center fielder because he's had a down year. Kevin Kiermaier finds himself right below George Springer. And then see, oh, look at that. Number 17, Mauricio Dubon, Eric.
Yeah, this is evidence of Orioles going out and rocking the vote, so to speak, and stuff in the ballot box. And so, Astros fans, we're not saying go out there and vote for John Singleton, but we're just saying go out and vote for the Astros that you think deserve it. And if you don't think that Yainer Diaz has had the season, then give the vote to who you think it deserves. But people like Jose Altuve, they definitely do it. So right now, you have three guys because the top three outfielders go in the American League. So as of right now, if the ballots would be locking today, you'd have three starters in the All-Star game. That shows that the Astros do have talent. It's just a matter of them putting it together. Their pitching has not been as dominant as it has in the past. And speaking of the rotation, there's been some updates to the rotation for the White Sox series. We'll go ahead and talk about that in a second. And who's going to be pitching in Thursday's game. We'll discuss that next.
This episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time is the number one place you can go for tickets. If you go to Game Time, download the app, use the promo code LOCKEDONMLB, you'll get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. You can pick any game you want, any matchup. It doesn't matter. They have deals all the time, whether it's baseball, whether it's soccer, whether it's football. They have it all. I'm telling you, I walk up to our Major League Stadium, Minute Maid Park here in Houston, and I literally have bought tickets right as I'm walking into the gate. Before I get to the gate, 2 clicks, and they are in my phone. It takes no time, and they have zone deals. They have all-in-one pricing where you're not surprised by what you get at the end of the day. Also, if you find the same tickets in the same section and same row for cheaper on another site, they'll credit you 110% the difference. So download the Game Time app today, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create the account, redeem the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. This episode is also brought to you by Supply House. Go to supplyhouse.com for all your plumbing, HVAC, and electrical product needs. That's right. They have you covered. It's an easy-to-use website packed with helpful resources and the latest info to help you get the job done right. Shop complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from the free membership at SupplyHouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com.
Hey guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Go and make us your first listen. Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts, go and check us out. Go and subscribe to us on YouTube and become an everydayer. Go and check out Michael Connor on the Locked On Astros podcast as well. And you can watch both shows on your Amazon Fire TV stick. Just go ahead and search the Free Channels app. You can watch us on your big screen, your small screen, whatever type of screen you have. We're not going to compare sizes here. But I do see in the comments here, a lot of people are talking about, well, Taylor Scott deserves to be a All-Star. Yes, I do agree that his stats deserve it, but what you have to keep in mind is that teams have to take a whole bunch of players and they have to represent somebody from every team, and also they typically tend to favor the back end of the back end guys, like the hold guys, the setup guys, and the closers.
Well, that's why when we had all those relief pitchers, when we had, when Montero was doing great, when we had Stanek doing great, all those guys, that's why, Stanek, I felt like was an all-star snub. Relief pitchers are tough to get in there just because, like you said, I mean, it is simply a numbers game with, I believe every team has to have at least 2 players.
Muchos personas.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know what you just said. Something about a lot of people. But yeah, so, at the end of the day, I believe Ronell gets in without an issue. He may be the only pitcher that makes it from this staff there may be a reliever, but there's a lot of other relievers, and there are a lot of other starters that are going to be in this. Look, I'm not saying Garrett Cole's going to make it in, but if Garrett Cole, he comes back Wednesday, and if he pitches out of his mind the next month and a half, I don't know, maybe they squeak him in there just because he's that good. I mean, he's been pitching that good, and
no, they can't.
No, they can't.
No, I mean, he's
he wouldn't have enough starts to qualify, I guess. Okay,
no, they wouldn't do that.
Okay, so anyways, so this week it looks like we've got Framber Valdez, we've got, I believe, Hunter Brown, and then
TBA.
And then, yes, I knew you're going to go with the famous player. You love that. That's your thing.
He's got a good curveball. He can throw 98 miles per hour. He's got a good slider. And I think his name is Jake Bloss.
There you go. Okay. So Jake Bloss started last on the 15th.
The 15th.
He's been pitching really well. And Eric, you and I have talked about this. Dana Brown has talked a lot about him. Kenny even mentioned on the systems checking in on the minor leagues with Astros Future the other day, even said that Jake Bloss is one of these kids that could very easily skip from AA to AAA. So I think that's a realistic option. You still do have Contreras, who they signed. You do have Lauer that they signed. So if they feel he's ready and they feel he can do it, and it's the White Sox, they've lost 9 series in a row. They're the worst team in baseball. It might not be a bad thing to bring him up and do that. So it'll be interesting. I would love to be a fly on the wall during that conversation of who they're deciding to go with.
I know that he's only 22 years old, but they've done it before with Lance McCullers. They brought him up straight from AAA, and I'm sure many other people before. I want to say Royals, Walt, but don't quote me on that. But if you're looking at everybody they have in AAA, there's nobody there that's really just excites me and gets me like, oh yeah, I think this is a guy to call up. You need somebody that's going to make an instant impact, and I think that is what Jake Bloss can do, and it's his time to seize the moment, and just like it's the Astros' time to do what they did not do in 2005. And I don't know if you noticed this, but I broke out the brick red and the 2005 hat that has a little dust on it apparently, but yes, they need to do what they did not do.
Look, I broke out the World Series patch hat too. We kind of great minds think alike there. Just a little different variant, but yeah, man, I'm loving it. I'm loving the throwback. Good job.
Yeah, so I think the Astros need to do reverse what they did in 2005. Don't get swept. They need to go ahead and sweep. I know that's a little bit harder than it takes. I know Framber Valdez, his last start was not great. The White Sox are not a good team. And I know that the Astros have been playing pretty good baseball against the bad teams. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go mop the floor with the bad teams and struggle a little bit against the good teams. And that's what they've done so far this year. They've lost a couple games to the bad teams. Like you lost that game to the Angels here or there. But I think that the Astros, if they take care of business, it's a short trip to Chicago. I know that it's the Windy City, but I think that the Astros, with the rotation that they could be throwing with the first 2 guys, Hunter Brown is a totally different guy than what we saw in the first 8 starts. And I think that the first 2 guys, they could set the tone for the series. The offense has got to go out there, set a tone. They can't keep on just scoring 2 runs a game or something like that. They've got to go out and just beat up, especially the first starter. I forgot who it was. I think it's Cannon or something, and then the second guy is going to be a little bit harder in Crochet.
So you do know what Jake Bloss did or was a part of recently, right? In his last start?
No, I'm sure you're going to tell me.
He was a part of a combined no-hitter.
Oh,
he threw 6 no-hit innings. They pulled him, and I was sitting here looking for the guy who came in. There were some amazing defensive grabs in that play. Zach Cole made an amazing diving stab, to get the ball. You basically, Gomez came in. He had a clean slate in the 7th. And then I'm trying to find, and I believe Buchanan, let's see, his first time coaching. I forget if they had a third pitcher come in or if it was just those two. So it looks like it was a 2-pitcher no-hitter. Yeah, Bloss and Gomez. Okay. So it was 2 guys. So he threw a combined no-hitter. Look, Bloss he plays the part. He gets the strikeouts. He's got a really good FIP, and he could be a candidate because here's a guy that maybe you could bring up. Maybe you could give him 4, 5, or 6 starts. You could save some arms. You could save some innings. Now, this is what's interesting about JV, what we haven't really talked about. JV is probably not going to get his innings this year.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not going to have his player option, which means the Astros will have a decision to make. Do we go ahead and write him off the books and not pay him because we're going to pay Tucker? Or do we try to get him back for one more year on a reduced? I wouldn't mind paying him $18 million a year. I wouldn't pay him 25. I wouldn't pay him 30. I'd pay him 15. I'd pay him 18. He may do it. I mean, he probably doesn't want to move again with his daughter growing up now. You know, she's, I guess, on into her toddler years, and that's never easy to move your kid around like that. So
I'm pretty sure they still have the place in New York, and I don't think they've. I'm sure he can go to the Yankees.
Oh no! Why would he do that? No, Yankees. Come on. He said before he didn't want to play for the Yankees. So
yeah.
But look, I think JV could come back, but I think he would come back on a reduced role, on a reduced contract.
That's an interesting aspect I didn't even think about, is the fact that he could not make the innings limit. So I think he will. This will be a short stint. Now, how long will Loperfido be have to stay in the minor leagues? We'll talk about that next. And will he get some playing time when he comes up? And the Astros pitchers, they're quoted as missing who? We'll talk about that next.
PrizePicks is America's #1 fantasy sports app with more than 5 million members. It is the most fun, exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports teams and players. Just pick more or less on 2 or more player categories for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. You can also do PrizePicks lineup in as little as 60 seconds. You just need to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you're locked in. If you're looking for promotions, they're having new promotions every single week. The reason why it's America's #1 sports app is because you can become a part of the PrizePicks community. That's fun as well. With baseball season underway, you can cash in on the action with your favorite players on the diamond, whether it's lineups, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, first inning runs. Take your pick more or less, add them to your PrizePicks lineup today. You can now win 100 times your money. That's correct, 100 times your money. So make sure you check out PrizePicks today. Turn $10 into $1,000. You won't go wrong. This is a great place to go. Download the app today. Use a promo code LOCKEDONMLB for your first deposit match of up to $100. That's Locked On MLB for your first deposit match of up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy.
Guys, thank you for making Locked On Astros podcast your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and subscribe to us. Go ahead and make us first listen, Apple, Odyssey, Spotify, and go and subscribe to us on YouTube and become an everydayer. Somebody listens to our podcast every day, and go ahead and help us out. I think we're how much from 1,500? Brett?
Yeah. What? Okay, sorry. So say it again.
I mean, 15,000. You said we're
no, we're at 11,000, almost 11,500. So
okay.
we are, I think, 4 or 5 away from 11,500. We are almost at 12,000 subscribers. So yeah.
Okay.
I hope it's more than 1,500.
Yeah. Sorry. I've got so many numbers in my head right now, but a lot of people are asking when can Loperfido come back? This was a bad decision, I think, that the Astros made. I know that it was the foul tip off of Yainer Diaz's finger that caused them to bring up Cesar Salazar. I believe that Cesar Salazar has not even appeared in game yet. Quote me if I'm wrong. He might have played in Saturday's game blowout, but the first time that he can come back is going to be, mark your calendar, June 21st. Now, the thing is, how much will he play? I think that on Friday, Dana Brown kind of hinted that there could be he's going to get some playing time, and there could be somebody on the active roster that could that does have some minor league options available that possibly could go down to AAA to work on the swing, aka Chaz McCormick. He can possibly go down and work on some swing and the swing.
Well, I think too, Loperfido hasn't played the last 2 days. He sprained his wrist sliding into third base 3 games ago. So he has not been inserted in the lineup for the last 2 days. He stayed in the game when he got hurt. He still hit. He didn't seem to be bothered by it, but I haven't heard he's not on the IL. But that may delay his return a little bit. They're going to want to make sure he's healthy. But yeah, it was just I think he was going either from first to third. I don't think it was a triple, but he was just running his off like he always does, because that's the only Joey knows one speed go. And so I'll try to get an update from Kenny tonight. So tomorrow maybe we can have an update on the status, but I've not seen anything come across my email from the team saying that he's on the IL.
Yes. So I think that the plan is for him to come up, play some outfield, possibly left field, but the idea is not for him to be the savior at first base. I think that he may play some at first base, but it's John Singleton's job to lose. But even since Jose Abreu has been let go, they haven't really been playing John Singleton. I know it's only a couple games.
Well, think about it. Think about it, Eric. You got Singleton. You've got Caratini. You've got Diaz. Diaz can play first. You got Dubon. You got now a 4-headed monster. I don't
Cabbage can play first base. I just don't know if they want.
But I'm just saying, though, and someone was discussing this earlier. Diaz's pop time is way down, which is weird. I want to talk to Diaz again soon, because I want to ask him what's been going on, because defensively he's been struggling this year, where last year he was one of the top 2 guys. And so
fatigue, he's the everyday catcher versus
fatigue. I think the mental side of the game, because Eric, you know this just like I do, and any of y'all listening, whether it's your job, whether it's a sport, if you're taxed mentally, it takes away from your physical abilities. It doesn't mean you can't do it, but look what happened to an aging Jose Abreu. Who would have thought that his fall off would have been so steep and so fast, right? The mental side got to him, that he was behind the 8 ball every time he got in that box, because he didn't stand a chance mentally, and physically he was already declining. So I think Diaz needs to settle in. I think Caratini, look, I'm just saying, you got 4 guys that can play first base. So I'm off the Joey Loperfido going to first, Eric. I first want Loperfido healthy. I would love to see Jake Bloss this week. And Eric, can the Astros sweep the White Sox? Because we haven't been able to sweep bad teams all year.
I think they can. They just got to get better play at first base. You know where the Astros rank batting average at first base in baseball? They are second in the worst batting average, with a 186 batting average at first base.
But look who they've had.
I know. Just let me give you numbers.
Okay.
So it's 186. They only trail the Rockies. Their batting average is 174. If you look at the OPS, which is a big thing, let me go the opposite way. They trail the Rockies again. The Rockies have a 528 OPS, and the Astros have a 568. And if you look at number 6, the Yankees at Anthony Rizzo, who's going to miss 6 to 8 weeks now with a fractured wrist. But he is, they have a 642 OPS. So first base has been a kind of eyesore this year.
So speaking of hand injuries, Mookie Betts is out. Mookie Betts, he has a broken hand. He's going to be out for several weeks, and they lost Yamamoto. So the Dodgers are now playing without a star pitcher who they paid a ton of money to, Mookie Betts, who moved to second base. I mean, look, injuries are crazy this year, Eric. And believe it or not, kids, we may end up in these playoffs. But when we get there, I don't know what team's going to show up. If Ronel Blanco could pitch every game and Hunter Brown could pitch every game the way they're pitching, we could win the World Series. Yeah, clone them. I'm sure the clones could mature by September. But definitely the return of Garcia and McCullers will be welcome. This team needs it. But I'm excited because I bet you Dana Brown and I bet you Jim Crane don't want to lose. And I think they're going to go for World Series. And I think they're going to go. But be warned. You heard it here. They're going to have to let go of somebody that you're not going to be happy them letting go. Who that is, I don't know. But it's going to be a high price if you want to get someone good to go after a World Series.
Well, the idea of a Correa being in Astros uniform again, JC Correa was released by the Houston Astros today.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, he's been having a down year. I know he was trying to make it as a catcher to kind of show his versatility. Great kid. You know, we had JC Correa on, I guess it was about a season or season or two ago.
This offseason.
Okay. And so, but yeah, good kid. Good luck to JC. Great kid. Great baseball mind. I'm sure no matter where he does what he does, he'll be successful at it. So
I have a lot of comments. If you want to go read the Houston Chronicle article, they have a lot of comments about Martin Maldonado. But Alex Bregman said that he was definitely different without him on the team this year. And a lot of people said that he was a difference maker. He was the heartbeat of the Astros clubhouse. So, so it's going to be definitely interesting to see how they react. The Astros will have to go out, play some good baseball, and they can go out and at least win 2 out of 3, if not sweep. My name is Eric Huysman. He is Brett Chancey. We are the Locked On Astros podcast, and go Astros.
Ya en el día.
What are you doing?